Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here, and in today's video I'm taking a look at a game called Pantropy. And if you haven't heard of it yet, it's an upcoming science fiction based survival sandbox that plonks you on a resource rich but dangerous alien world where you have to survive against hostile creatures and players alike. There's going to be base building, a faction system, and plenty of NPC alien things that are out to kill you, but probably the biggest draw, for me at least, is the ability to build modular, multi-crew aircraft, mechs, and drones. It's currently in closed alpha, and a Kickstarter campaign has literally just kicked off this week, and you can get early access to the game through that, plus backer rewards. I've also managed to get hold of a couple of copies to give away myself, so stay tuned and I'll tell you how you can try to win one of those later in the vid. But in this video, I wanted to show off my favourite aspect of the game, which is all the different vehicles and mechs that are currently playable. And in fact, my little friend here who's filming me is one of the first. He's a drone, and I'm controlling him remotely. So let me just park him up and I'll show you what he's all about. If we take a look in his inventory, you can see that he's got quite a few slots. We can actually give him a weapon. He can carry either a rocket launcher or a machine gun at the moment, so I'm going to give him a launcher for now and a few rockets. All the mechs run on energy cells, which can be recharged at your base, and I've got some more cooking in a solar panel behind me at the moment. There's another couple of slots for tech mods and body armor, you'll notice, but I'll show you those on one of the other mechs in a minute. Plus, he's also got a little bit of storage at the bottom, which is handy if you want to ferry loot around or just deliver sandwiches to your friends, I suppose. Okay, so let's just take him for a test flight to get an aerial view of our surroundings, and this, I suppose, is really his main job. He's quite quick and a small target to boot, so he's perfect for scoping out enemy territory without getting instantly shot down, although he does have a range, so you can only take him so far from your character's position before you get a warning and have to start heading back. Also, when you're in a mech, you can go into third person, although apart from this, the game is strictly first person. Because he's got a weapon though, he's also able to take out targets, so let's see if we can find a poor innocent creature to test that out on. Lovely stuff. Right, now the next step up from him is one of these. This is a Scout Walker and is the most basic manned mech there is. You'll be able to get one of these quite early on, for instance. It's not particularly hench, but it is cheap and can do quite a bit more than a drone. Also, good to note here that you can set passwords for all of these, so you won't get any old Tom, Dick or Harry swinging by and nabbing them, which is jolly handy. You can install 2 weapons at a time on him. There's 2 different lasers, a cannon, a machine gun and a rocket launcher to choose from at the moment, but I'm going to install a mining laser and a gun on him first. And we can also add armor for extra durability if we want, and for tech mods, we have 2 here that I want to install. That's a shield and a stealth one, which I'll show you in a second. Right, so although these walkers are the flimsiest mechs out there, they are quite quick, fortunately. You can switch between weapons and switch them on and off with 1 and 2, so you can have one or both active at a time. The mining laser, for instance, if I just switch that on, is really useful for, yes, you guessed it, killing things, no, mining, and is a lot faster than the alternative. Rather handy, of course, if you're building a fortress and you need to get a lot of materials quite quickly. But this is what I'm really excited to show you now, because with the tech mods installed, you get a couple of extra functions. So first of all, there's a shield that you can activate for a short time with G. It takes a little while to recharge after you use it, so you do have to be strategic with it. But here's my favourite. By pressing T, we can activate the stealth mod and go into predator mode. And you can stay like this for as long as you've got power, really. It does increase energy usage, just like the shield module, but it lasts for quite a long time. Also, if you use a weapon, it instantly switches off. This one's really handy for evading when being chased by other players, or just ambushing people, for instance, and you can add it to any of the mechs, which is ridiculously fun. I've been speaking to the developers and they tell me there's other modules planned too, including ones that increase weapon accuracy and energy efficiency, but also jump jets. Okay, next up is the tier 2 mech, and as you can see, this one's much beefier overall, still a 1 person, but you can really reinforce this one with a lot more armor and some even juicier weaponry. We've got rocket launchers, cannons, laser lances and railguns for this one. There are slots for up to 4 tech mods, and you can keep a lot more junk in the trunk. You're just going to have to take my word that these feel really good to drive. Drive? Is that the word? Do you drive a mech, or do you take it for a walk? I'm not sure. Well, big kudos to the designers, because they do feel really solid. And as someone who's been into mechs for literally donkey's years, this is great fun. They remind me a bit of Lost Planet, actually. That's not a bad thing. And so that brings me to the T3, the newest and biggest of the mechs. It's an absolute beast in comparison to the others, as you can see. And although it's only one person at the moment, eventually it'll allow up to 3 crew members, with 2 of them being able to man the side weapons. Now, this mech is the only one that can take the 120mm cannon, which, as you can see, if I put it on, is huge. Plus, you can install 2 more on the side, as I say, so I'm going to do that now. Oh look, someone's put some mechs over there that shouldn't be there. I guess I'd better do something about it. So as you can see, these things are pretty powerful, but obviously with great power comes great cost of actually building and running them. And being about the size and shape of Uganda, they're not exactly difficult to hit. But if you can get one to the battlefield, then you've obviously got an advantage. So that brings me to the final craft that's in the game at the moment, which is the Tomahawk. This is a one-man aircraft. It only packs 1 weapon, but it is really good fun for dogfights once you get used to the controls, which are a little bit tricky. But for instance, in this one, we can add the same modules, but I can also add an aircraft boost module, which should enable me to fly even faster. These have vertical takeoff and landing, and as I say, they are a lot of fun once you get used to the controls. Oh, and if you want to know what this huge, suspiciously shaped thing is that I'm flying towards, that's actually the alien hive, which is in the middle of the map, and that's where the NPC enemy faction is based. One thing you will have to keep an eye out for when flying around are the anti-aircraft missile systems, which players will be able to use to defend their bases with. They're quite slow, so if you come in hot, they'll probably miss you, but trying to land nearby is a complete no-no. So these are just the current craft and mechs in the game, but there will be more. A new small walker's planned, which will sit somewhere between the first 2, and there's a dropship in the works, which will be a 3-man jobby and will actually be able to pick up other mechs and transport them around. In addition to this, you'll be able to customize your mech army with a number of different skins. You can probably tell I'm excited about this aspect of the game. I think that it's got a lot of potential, but what else is there to Pantropy? Well, as I say, it's a survival, and as such comes complete with all the usual trappings, such as resource gathering, crafting, and some very nice base building mechanics, something that I think's worthy of a video on its own. There'll be base defenses and offline raid protection too. There are 2 player factions, so when you join a server, you'll be able to pick one and instantly have allies. There are global points of interest that can be captured and defended, such as power plants and mining facilities, and you also have an active alien NPC faction that's constantly trying to expand its way out from the center of the map and build its own bases. There's a story behind the world with alien artifacts to find and assemble, which will unlock an underground biome with a damaged wormhole generator that can be reactivated. There are missions that will become available for your faction to take on, global events, automated mining, and of course, all of these mechs. Quite an ambitious project, but the progress so far is very promising, and the developers seem super keen to realize their vision, and I'm really hopeful that it will be a success. As I mentioned at the outset, there's a Kickstarter in progress, and I'll leave a link to that in the description for you to check out. But I've also got a couple of keys to give away myself, and you'll find the details for that down below as well. I'm sorry this has been a short vid, struggling with time a bit at the moment, but please let me know in the comments what you thought of this, and leave me a like if you'd be so kind. As per, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and the Steam group, as well as my Discord. I shall catch you all in my next vid, but until then, keep calm and stay mechanized. Cheerio.